Hi everyone. So, a bit of an experiment here. This probably won't turn out to work, but let's give it a go. So, recently, as you're probably aware, I've been getting interested in a bit of retro gaming, and there's a great channel called TheHobbyLodge, which I watch. First came across it actually because he did a review of his visit to Salute, because not only is he a retro gamer, but he's also a bit of a war gamer, and he mainly enjoys fantasy and sci-fi and things that I'm not into. But he's got a fabulous collection of figures. He's a really good painter. But in his hobby lodge, he also has a massive collection of gaming consoles and so on. But anyway, cut to the chase. He recently constructed a computer, which he's got a video showing how he did it, which runs off of Windows XP. And the reason he did that was that and I agree with him that he considers the late 1990s, early 2000s as being the kind of heyday of personal computer wargaming, not wargaming, gaming. And there were so many good games that ran off of Windows XP that you can't play anymore. So, inspired by that, I thought I would get out. I never threw it away, an old laptop that I'd stopped using because the screen on it was just it had deteriorated so much. There was lots of lines and streaks across it, so I had to get a new laptop. But I never threw the laptop itself away because it still functions as a computer. And equally, I never threw away a lot of my old games that I used to enjoy so much. And inspired by his video, I thought I'll try and get some way of getting, still using the laptop, but transferring the image to my television screen. And that's what you're actually looking at now, which is why I would imagine, and I think I can see it on the video screen, you get that flicker, and I apologise for that. If I was very clever, I would be able to run it through some kind of video capture, but I haven't got to that stage yet. Maybe in a short while I'll get the components, but it took me ages to actually work out how to send the signal from the laptop via the VGA socket, convert it into an HDMI signal, and then connect it into the TV screen, and then to clone the TV screen to the laptop screen so that they both showed the same thing. So I was impressed myself with my ability to do that in the end, but it took a little bit working out. So the next step will be trying to find some way of recording the images and screen capturing them rather than you looking live at this image. But the only way I can do it at the moment is to run the signal through another connector, so that it converts to a SCART plug that I can plug into my DVD recorder. And by that stage the video quality is appalling, so it's not worth watching. Anyway, the game I've been playing almost incessantly since I set this arrangement up is Microsoft's, and you probably can't see that because it's the evening here and I've got the lights on. Microsoft's Combat Flight Simulator 2, which is set in World War II in the Pacific Theatre. Now, this flight simulator is just fantastic. It's exactly the sort of game I like to play, and that's because unlike a lot of console games and arcade style games, it isn't constant fighting and unlimited ammunition and so on and impossible manoeuvring. It all feels to me, and it does give me that impression of sort of genuine flight performances. So the joystick, which you can't really see it. I've got set my joystick up here, and the plane responds to the joystick controls very realistically, and I've tried to make it as realistic as possible. So I've got all the settings so that there are no labels on the screen to inform you what nationality various planes are. I've tried to set it up so it's almost everything is as the pilot would witness things from the cockpit. So it's kind of Microsoft's flight sims, especially nowadays, are very realistic. There's even people who give themselves sort of a flight training almost so that they can fly real aircraft. But this has got the added element of combat in it, so you're flying. In this case, this evening I've been attempting to accomplish a particular mission in a campaign that I'm running, and I'm in a Japanese plane trying to escort some bombers to attack an American fleet off of Saipan and protect them. And as you can see, the last time I attempted it, I failed again. There's a graphic up here saying with a tailplane of a Japanese shot-down fighter, "I'm sorry to say that your loved one has succumbed to wounds sustained in battle. Our squadron mourns his loss of leadership." What actually happened on this particular mission was that I got all the way home and successfully landed the aircraft at a place, I think it was called Yai, I can't remember the name of the island, but it was a very short landing strip, and the plane, I managed to stop the plane and park it at the end of the runway, but was immediately struck by a bomber that was following me, so the whole thing went up in a big fireball just as I got home, so I was very close to successfully finishing. Anyway, so I'm going to run it again and give you the kind of experience of looking at it over my shoulder at a slightly oblique angle, so you can get an idea, and I'll talk you through the various views that I can get. The one thing that I have left on the screen is the status labels, so you'll see various status reports coming up at the top of the screen. You probably, at this distance, you probably might be able to read them to you, but I'll read them out to you. And they also give you a translation of my fellow Japanese pilots are all speaking in Japanese, so there's a translation of that in English, so I'll be able to tell you that. But anyway, let's go on with I'll close this and we'll fly the mission again. So probably when I click fly again, you're going to get a little comic style animation that runs first of all, giving you a bit of the background story of where the war is at the moment. I think that's what happens. Here we go. Oh no, that's not going to happen, so I beg your pardon. So there's me. Ignore the fact that I got 61 kills in this campaign so far. Most of those aren't planes. They count kills as strafing ground targets and things, so there might be something as defenseless as a hut or something like that. If you manage to hit it, then that gives you a kill. I've got 3 wingmen, and then there's another section with another lead pilot and another 3 wingmen. You can change these characters around, you can shift them around, and so I tend to promote the ones that are doing well and keep the best performing ones as my wingmen, and then in this other section, these are the lower performing pilots, and there's even one at the bottom that so far hasn't got any kills, but he's probably I think he is, I don't recognise him there, but he's probably a replacement for a pilot that has been killed, and his name is Kenichi Nikaido. and he hasn't got any kills at all so far. So maybe when I click next now, we will get this animation running. Let's see. Yeah, here we go.
昭和19年6月19日、また新しい一日が始まる。
So what he's saying is, June 1944, another day begins. All I see before me is the enemy, and I must stop them. It's unacceptable for home islands to come under attack or invasion. No good news on the home front. Everyone makes do and tries to keep their spirits up. But there is little food, little fuel, and our factories are all but silent.
本国の状況もかなりひどい中、皆歯を食いしばって大気に逃げ回したが、食料も燃料もなく、工場もほとんど動いていないらしい。
Okay, now you get an overview of the briefing, and it's telling me that United States Navy surface forces are operating off Saipan. You will escort G4Ms and D3As to search out and destroy the enemy warships. Admiral Ozawa is determined to find and destroy the American fleet, and your aircraft are the implements he will use for this necessary surgery. Scouts report 2 US task groups spotted to the northeast of Saipan, and you're flying from Yap, and your aircraft is an N1K2J George, so you can get a little visual of the aircraft there. It's equipped with a 330 litre drop tank, because it'll be flying a long distance, and as I say, I'm keeping all this realistic, so I've got limited fuel and limited ammo levels, and I've discovered this is the first scenario where I've flown this plane, and it has no cannon. It's only got machine guns, but they are incredibly effective. But the drop tank, you have to release that as soon as you get into combat, because it really does hinder the plane's performance. And the advanced info, let's just show you that briefly. So this is a map of the campaign, or the battle area. So you start off at Yap, flying northeast across the Pacific Ocean to this area here, and this is where we expect to find the enemy fleets, and then you have to get your plane back and land on Yap. And don't think there's much else that we can glean from this. The mission goals are to survive and to down 2 enemy aircraft, which isn't that difficult, but it's surviving their return fire that is difficult. Right, let's close that and get going. So we fly now. So here we are inside the aircraft, and the plane is on the runway at Yap, so that's looking over my starboard wing, port wing, back behind me to my flight behind me. I'll get the engine going. So the engine has started now. We can give you another view. This is a view that allows you just to move around your view like that. I don't find that particularly a good view, but you also have an outside view which gives you an idea. So while you're looking at that, I'm just going to put the throttle forward, get back into the cockpit. You can see the throttle here. So I'm now at full throttle and I'm moving forward. The buildings, looking at the buildings, and when my nose drops slightly, I can begin to raise the plane up. There we go, so we're off the ground now. But I want to raise the gears, which is this view here. So my gears are now up, and I could fly the plane all the way across the ocean to my destination, but it can be pretty tedious. So what I'm going to do is telling me I can skip to the next action sequence by pressing keyboard X. So we'll do that, and off we go into combat. Okay, so here we are over the Pacific Ocean, and somewhere friendlies in sight dead ahead. Yeah, so these are the bombers that I'm accompanying. I'll just drop the throttle a little bit. The bandits in the area, and you probably won't see on from your view, but I can see some specks in the distance now. So what I'm going to do, just going to show, I'm going to arm the drop tank and then drop it from the plane. So I'm ready to go into combat. Back into the view. Lost track of where those enemy fighters are now, having done that. Bandits approaching, carrying 4-5 degrees, so it's just off to my right here. I'm going to tell the rest of my squadron to attack. Not too sure I know where the enemy are. The bombers are releasing their bombs onto the fleet. Ah, they look like enemy planes to me down there. So let's drop down to their level. See if I'm right. I want to be careful not to shoot at my own planes, but they certainly look as though they're aggressive. Yep. There's one of them, I think. Yep, there he goes, just flying over my wing. I'll try and get behind him. I hope that my wingmen are sorting out the others. Right, this is a gull-winged plane, so I'm confident that that's a Corsair. So let's see if we can get some shots off on that. They're so slippery. I've got it. There we go. Shut them down. Oh, but unfortunately, there's one on my tail that's doing me a lot of damage. I can't control the plane. I'm going to bail out. No, I didn't bail out in time, so I am dead again. So let's try that once more. See if I can do any better. Skip all the intro, which you've seen already. And off we go again. Skip to the actions, next action sequence. So here we are back in battle again. drop the see some specs just here, so they're almost certainly enemy planes. So as soon as one of my flight shout them out, I can order them all to attack. Bandit stay ahead, there we go. So I've given them order to attack. Let's see if we can do any better. Got one. I think he'll recover from that. And Soichi Ogura has to scratch one, so he's got another kill. These planes look Japanese to me. You can't afford to fly in a straight line for too long. I think that's the one that I shot down. Just about to hit the sea there. I don't know if you can see just here. Oh. That looks to me like another American. Where's he gone? Oh, monkey. Trying to look up through my canopy to see where he's got to. There he is. Trying to keep on his tail. Got his wing. Got him, I think. It'll be upside down. He hasn't recognised that I've shot anything down yet, so he's probably still in the sky. Oh yeah, you shot down blowpipe. So we've got to get one more kill now in order to meet the mission target. And this guy looks like perfect suitable target to hit. Shot down Pitchfork 1, mission goal complete. So at this point, what I'm going to do, because I know I've got very limited ammo, is I'm going to try and get out of here. So I need to fly southwest to get home to Yap, and at the moment I'm at 90 degrees, so I'm flying east. So let's try and turn around to about 230, something like that. Leave everyone else to their devices, try and get the formation to reform on me. So I'm ordering them to get in formation, but whether they respond or not, they might be engaged with enemy fighters. And we'll just try and fly out of the combat zone, so that it'll allow me to warp to the landing, see if I can do a better job of landing the plane. But while we're flying along, I don't think anything's pursuing me, so I'll just talk a little bit more about it. I mean, at the moment you're just looking at the sky. There's a bit of a battle going on up there, but it's got some really beautiful graphics for the scenery. So if you're flying over jungle terrain or something like that, and I've incorporated with a supplementary disc some realistic clouds into it, so you can fly through wispy, kind of hazy clouds. Oh, that's my wingman just bailing out. And feel a bit guilty now for flying away and not helping them out, but I want to try and accomplish this mission. Let's give them another. See if they respond to coming back into here. You can call up a map as well. Let's just do that temporarily. So at the moment, this is where I started. The yellow line is my flight out, and you can see here how I'm now flying along this line here, so I'm going in roughly the right direction to get me home. But all this bit of a catastrophic series of incidents happening over here. But anyway, let's keep going. My fuel is I've still got good amounts of fuel, so I'm not going to have to drop the plane out, out the sky halfway home. Until I'm out of, yeah, there we go. So Ichiro Shimizu is saying, nice mop up, they're all gone, so it will now allow me to warp. So I'm going to warp to just above Yap, and you can see some planes in formation in front of me, all heading towards the landing strip, and a couple behind me as well. But learning from my previous experience of this, I'm really going to try and drop my speed down before I get to the landing strip, because I ran off the other side of it. And I think this is, that's oil pressure, oil temperature. Where's my altimeter? So I'm at 270 odd meters now. I'm dropping my height, so you can see I'm still able to maintain height, so it's not a problem. But another thing I can do is lower the flaps. So let's try and do that. So you can see the flaps lowering here. So that stops me from stalling at lower speeds. Concentrate on keeping the plane in the sky, and if I'm going slowly enough, hopefully everything else will land before me, and then I won't have that same problem of something flying into my back of me. And of course, before I get to the landing strip, I'm going to have to lower the gears, lower the undercarriage, and that will be signalled here with green lights. But I can afford to wait a little bit longer before I do that, because it will drag the plane a little bit. So I must be about 100 feet or so, 100 metres rather, 84 metres. Speed up a little bit, keep me in the sky. Landing on aircraft carriers is even harder than this. Let's put the gears down. So the gears are lowering. Got one down at the moment. 2, 3. So I'll show you that. So there, the gears down. Let's see if we can put the plane on the ground now. About 50 metres. Try and give myself the whole of the landing strip so I can apply the brakes and slow the plane down. Right, bit of a bounce, we landed, so now apply the brakes. Definitely slowing down, I think I've done it. There we go, so I'm going to switch off the engine here, and the propeller will slowly come to a stop as well, and I'm not going to try and park it. I think I'm going to call it a day at that and press X to end the mission. So success at last. It's taken me a few attempts to do that. Good flying back there, you're leading by example. I've done it. Player retrieved required goals, player is alive, percentage complete, 100%, you got 2 fighters. Brilliant. So I'll stop the video there. Just thought I'd give you an idea of the fun I'm having with these old computer games, and hopefully in the not too distant future I'll be able to get a setup where I can capture this gameplay in a much better way so that you can appreciate the quality of it more. Thanks for watching.